Welcome to module 4 of communication. In last module we have covered definition of communication, how communication process starts, what are the important elements of communication, what are the important models of communication. So today we will get ahead and today we will cover the elements of communication in detail. So I suggest please see this module completely, make your notes, and also you can refer to the book or textbook of agriculture communication by A.S. Sandhu. So the modules which I am generating and the textbook, if you cover these two, then you will be able to solve each and every questions which comes from this communication area. So today we will cover communicator. We will look into the definition of communicator and what are the factors affecting it. Then we will look into message, its important elements and message flow models. Then we will also look into distortion. This is an area where many objective questions are being framed from distortion. So today we will look into distortion and its type, channels of communication and its type, media forums, audience and factor affecting it, feedback, empathy and its theories. So let's get ahead. So first we will cover communicator. The first element of communication process is communicator. Many models have suggested that before communicator there is a source also, and I have explained to you also. Suppose I am going into a village, I am organizing a seminar, I am talking about rice, but the message of rice I have taken from my friends of genetics and plant breeding division. So the source of the message will be that person who belongs to genetics and plant breeding division, and I became the communicator. Sometimes source and communicators are the same, because if I am generating the material myself, it's my material, my based on my primary research work, and I am only one who is communicating to farmers or villagers, then I am the source as well as I am the communicator. So please be clear about these two terms, source and communicator. So source is the primary originator of the message and communicator who is communicating. So communication process starts from the source, but also in many models you will see the communication process start from communicator. So let's assume that we have taken material from the source and now we are communicating to the farmer. So the first element here we will cover is communicator. So the communicator is a person who initiate the process of communication, because for farmers communicator is the first person, because they will not know from where that material had taken, right? So they will focus on who is speaking on the podium. That's why in many times when the people speaks from podium, we think that these are the thoughts generated by the person who is speaking from the podium, but sometimes the thoughts are coming from a third person. Classical example will be the our cinema. In Bollywood, hero speaks dialogues and we assume that yes, this hero is speaking dialogues, it is his opinion, but you know that dialogues are written by another person, a script writer. So communicator is here is actor and source is the script writer. So both are important, very important for a successful communication. So the communicator is a person who initiates the process. He is the source, originator or sender of the message. This line need rectification because these are the lines which has been taken from very old textbook. Now new researches has been done into communication, so I have told you that source and communicator can be different and they can be same also. So for time being we assume that a person who is writing the message, he is only communicating with the person, so he is the source, originator or sender of message. A communicator may be an individual, a group or a social system. For example, individual, a scientist who have released a very good variety and he is communicating about his variety to farmers, that becomes an individual. A group, if a group of scientists has evolved a new technology, right, or a group of a person has written down a script of a movie, so it's become a group. Or a social system, like if our representative of Indian country is negotiating with other countries in UN platform, so it's the voice of a social system, right? So it can be anyone. For our cases, in agriculture cases, generally it's a group or it's an individual, right? So this is the communicator. And now what are the important factors which affect communication behavior? So please go through the book, each and every point they have elaborated, but out of these 9 important factors, the first one is communication skills, attitude, knowledge level, position with socio-cultural system, relationship with receiver, purpose, roles and rules, law of large numbers, communication competence. These all we have discussed in our last module also. Here two important factors are there, in which I will elaborate, I will explain you. The first one is communication skills. because communication skills are the one which actually makes the impact of a communication. If you have seen the video of how to become an effective communicator, I have uploaded my channel and the link is in my description box. Please visit that video, mix your notes and note down some important points, because the message has been drafted. Now it's the communicator, it depends on communicator how he delivers that message. It is enhances the effectiveness of message, or a very good scripted message can be spoiled by communicator. So it depends on communicator how they are expressing their message. So below they have said there are 5 verbal communication skills. The first set of skills they are talking about encoding, writing and speaking. Now what is encoding? I have explained in the last model when I explained the models of communication. Encoding means when I am drafting a message from the for farmers of Tamil Nadu, I have the material in English, so I will convert into Tamil. So that's become encoding. Now when the villagers, when the farmers are hearing from the scientist, then they will decode according to their own social cultural values, according to their own prior knowledge. That's become decoding. So encoding, writing, speaking is one set of verbal communication skills. Second set of skills is decoding, reading and listening, right? And the fifth skills, they are talking about thought or reasoning communication skills. So they are saying affecting, it's affect the ability to comprehend or understand, ability to analyze and ability to encode. So these are the 5 important verbal communication skills, right? You will also find these descriptions when I am talking in that effective communicator video. Link is in description box. So communication skills are very important. If a communicator has very good verbal communication skills, means command in language, he knows how to raise his voice, he knows how to maintain his intonation, tone, pitch, everything, then the communication will become very effective. Then the second factor which affect communicator is attitude. I have told you, if a person has lots of knowledge, lots of subject matter knowledge, but his or her attitude is negative towards farmers, if he has or she has prejudice about farmers, that farmers do not know many things, and they believe, sometimes people assume that farmers do not know anything, we are only expert, we are only scientists, we will give them technology. So this kind of attitude will not work at village level, because we also know, when we will talk about atma, when we will talk about the models of extension, then we will talk that earlier top to down bottom approach was followed in extension. So farmer was treated as ignorant. We have assumed that farmers do not know anything, but now it's not true. And now researchers have shown that farmers has is their own wisdom, which is known as indigenous technical knowledge. So attitude towards farmers should be that we should respect his or her experience, and also farmer is getting something from us and we are also enriching our knowledge from farmers. So it's a dialogic communication, which I have explained to you in the first module. So attitude towards self, how a communicator see himself, how much confident he or she is. So attitude towards self, attitude towards subject matter. If you are liking your subject, if you are reading your subject by heart, then you will generate a lot of interest on your subject. So attitude towards subject matter is also very important. And then attitude towards receiver, this is very important. We are going for just sake of formality in villages, we are going to really enrich our farmers. It depends on the attitude of a researcher or communicator. So attitude to a receiver should be positive. We should have a firm belief that they are going to listen us, and if our technology is self-worthy, if our technology is good for them, they will adopt it, and we have to become the facilitator in this process. So attitude and communication skills are very two important factors. Other factors like knowledge level, position with socio-culture system, relationship with receiver, purpose, roles and rules, law of large numbers, communicator competence are explained in A.S. Sandhu book. Please go through them. I have also discussed time to time in my previous modules, right? So now communicator is over. Not many questions comes from that part. Communicator, until unless you can get a short note on writing the in the factors affecting the communication system, then you have to talk about communicator and the important factor affecting that communicator, right? Now a very important element of communication process is message. So message is facts, feelings, impressions, attitudes, etc. that communicator wishes his audience to receive, understand, accept and act upon, right? So messages are the data or messages are the content which are generated by source or by communicator. Now communicator is sending that message to their receiver, so that message become the data or the content, right? You can formally define message like this. Then message can be defined as alteration of physical environment. So this can become a objective, right? Which one of the following is also referred as alternation of physical environment? So answer will be message. Why they have called this alteration of physical environment? Because a communicator is sitting in front of audience is ready to listen. This is a system, right? Until and unless communicator do not start saying something, do not start sending his message, the physical environment will not get disturbed, right? So here they are referring the physical environment when audience is ready to listen and speaker is ready to say the message, to pronounce the message, right, to deliver the speech. So when the communicator start delivering his speech, so the communicator is altering the physical environment. That's why the message is the alteration of physical environment which a communicator is using to alter the physical environment, right? So message can be defined as alterations of physical environment. Now a very important concept from where you will get a objective question. Many times I have seen objective, many 2 or 3 objective questions coming from this. Message has 3 important dimensions. The first one is message code, the second one is message content, and the third one is message treatment, right? So a question can be framed from here: which of the following is not an important dimension of message? So object options can be code, content, treatment, and one new thing they will put. So that new thing will be the answer because it's not a important dimension. So question can be framed in different way from here, right? Code, content, and treatment. Now what is code? Code is a group of symbols. It means language is a code. What is language? Language is an expressive symbols only, right? If you remember from your history lessons of class 12th, then still many languages from Harappan culture, because Harappans has scripted many code and symbols on rocks, and still historians are not able to identify those symbols because that was the language Harappans were using. So these were the symbols. They know the meaning of symbols, right? So our alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G and our Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha are the symbols. Now when the symbols are used in a suitable way, they becomes a language. So language is a code. So it's a very important integral part of the message. The second one is the content. Content means when you are arranging a language code in such a way that it gives a meaning, it gives a relevant paragraph, it gives a relevant message for our audience. That's become a content, yani material in the message. What is the material in the message? For example, if I am preparing my speech on rice cultivation practices, so RICE, cultivation, CUL, these all becomes the code. And now I am writing that rice is a kharif crop using K, H, using R, all the alphabets. So rice is a kharif crop becomes my content, which is very important and which is made by my symbols, right? Then treatment is very important. I explained to you while explaining the Ligan's model. Treatment means if my group of symbols in a particular language and my audience is not understanding that language or group of symbols, then I will convert my message into that system of symbols or language which my audience understand. For example, a scientist from Tamil Nadu region is posted in North India. Now he has selected villages from Haryana. Now there are two options. If farmers are very progressive, if they can understand English, then it's good for that scientist. Otherwise, he has to frame his message in Hindi. He has to convert his Tamil message into Hindi, and he has to deliver. If he is competent in that language, he can do it. If not, then he can take help of the subject matter specialist from Krishi Vigyan Kendra or any opinion leader. So this is just an example to make and understand. The real process is more complicated than that. If you will come as a scientist in a system, or when you will come into job, then you will understand. It's very difficult to make a very effective communication speech or a message. So that is treatment. right? That how you are treating your message. For example, if this topic I am teaching to graduation level, then I will treat my message, I will not use jargons, I will not use so much of advanced concept. If the same topic I am teaching in PhD classes, then I will want to go deeper and deeper, so I will put some research initiative, or also I will put some research findings also, because they are PhD scholars. So that is, we are treating the message. So code, content, treatment are very important. These three are the important dimensions of message. So always remember, what are the three dimensions of message? Code, content, treatment. Code, group of symbols, language. Content means the material, and treatment means how you are treating that message, so that your message is delivered in effective way and minimum loss of communication, minimum loss of message happens, right? So code, content, treatment. Now, what is the characteristics of good message? This can become a 5-mark question, right? What are the factors affecting the communication process? So in that you have to explain communicator, factors affecting communicators, factor affecting message, factor affecting channel, factor affecting the receivers, and factor affecting the feedback. 2 or 3 important factor in each one, so your answer will be complete, right? So what is the characteristics of good message? The first one, message should be in line with the objectives. Objectives of communication, what is your objective, right? If you are communicating with farmers because you want them to adopt a good technology, you are communicating to farmers to make awareness about a project, awareness about a government scheme, what is your objective? So according to objective, message will be drafted, and it's very important to understand your objective and then synchronize your message according to the objectives. Then second one, message should be clear, understandable, specific, and accurate. Message should be clear. In our communication workshop classes, when we used to organize communication workshop, then we always say good communicators are those who make their message simple, who makes their message understandable. Classic example, if you listen to the speeches of Swami Vivekananda, if you listen to the speeches of Mahatma Gandhi, they have not used too much of jargons. They are not there to impress their audience, they are there to express themselves, right? So the aim of a communicator is to express, not to impress, right? So you do not need a very hi-fi jargon filled English there, or a very pure Hindi. Your message should be framed in a way so that our audience understand. It should be clear, understandable, specific, accurate, right? Then third, message should be appropriate to the channel. Here channel means which channel which you are using. Suppose you are giving a message through radio, so the language, so the message should be drafted so that the radio fits to that message, and message can go through radio. If you are making it for newspaper, then it should be drafted in that way. So there are different ways of drafting a message that has to be dealt when you will read journalism course. So there you will make messages for different channels, for pamphlets, for leaflets, for folders, for radio, for newspaper. So that is depend on the channel. So always keep in your mind which channel you are using and what should be the message. If you are using no channel, you are verbally communicating the message, then your speech has to be very powerful. If you are communicating your message through newspaper, then a different way of drafting a message you have to follow. So it depends on channel. And fourth one is timely. Timely is very important. If message is not delivered timely, then no mean how much effective your message is, people are not going to accept it, right? So timely important. If we are talking about rice, so it has to come in Kharif season, starting Kharif season now, because this is the right time, May, June. So talking about varieties of rice, talking about how to make nursery, talking about red seeded rice will be immensely useful for the farmers, because it's a timely message, because they are going to sow their rice wheat, they are going to prepare the field for rice cultivation. So timely message is very important. Then social and economical, I have given many classical examples. Social and economical, you have to always think that what are the repercussions of my message, because it's a media, it's a now social media so active. If you are not thought about these lines, then your wrong message could be taken in a different way, and you can become viral also. People can misquote you, people can misunderstood you in social media. So social and economical background of farmers has to be understood while delivering a message. So these are the 5 important elements or characteristics of good message. Now, message treatment strategies, how you can treat your message. Message should be treated so that it should have consonance, context, and credibility. What are these three elements? If you remember, the effectiveness of communication I have talked about. So I have talked about these three important elements. Consonance means appropriateness, consistency. Context means in what context you are using message, and credibility means how much authentic, how much trustworthiness you have with the farmers. I have explained you while explaining the communication effectiveness, so you can refer that module also. So message treatment is very important. You have to keep receiver, you have to keep audience in your mind while treating your message. Now there are certain message flow models, how actually message goes from communicator to receiver. There are different flow models which has been generated on the basis of research done by various social scientists. So the first model is hypodermic needle model. The second model is two-step flow model. Third model is one-step flow model. Sometimes in examination, objective question can come or message flow models can come. So you should know. So the first model is hypodermic needle model. Information flows directly from mass media to audience, right? Mass media to audience. There are only two elements in this model: mass media and audience. Classical example of will be speeches of our honorable prime minister to the whole country. So they are delivering speeches from radio, from television, and it is directly going into audience, right? And then audience gives their reactions, but it's very difficult to grasp, to analyze each and every reaction of our country, because it's a 140 crore people are living in our country. So mass media has given message to the audience. We cannot analyze the consequences or the perception of the audience, each and every audience. We can have a general idea, we can have a general idea from a sample, but we cannot analyze on a census method. So mass media has given a message to the audience. What happens that audience, 100% we cannot concentrate, 100% we cannot statistically prove that what happens to our message. So always remember, hypodermic needle model will be mass media to audience. If in our agriculture sector, if you see one example, if our suppose a government scheme we want to popularize into village, we are broadcasting what our institute is doing, our what projects we are doing, what our institute has done through mass media. Suppose soil sampling, we have started a soil sampling in our project, so we have given this news from mass media and directly it has went into the audience, into villages. So this is a classical example of hypodermic needle model. Then our refined model has come, that becomes two-step flow model. It was started in 1940 in the United States of America in elections, during elections, because elections communication is very nearly associated with all the elections, because they organize different publicity and communication campaigns. So there the researchers has found that two-step flow model is very effective. Information flows through mass media to key communicators, which the other name for key communicators, we can call them as opinion leaders also, and then to audience, right? So mass media to key communicators, then to audience. So one element has inserted here, key communicators. It's like, if I have a certain project in my project village area, I will disseminate a message through mass media to selected persons. They are selected person, opinion leaders. When we will cover the module of sociology and when we will discuss opinion leadership, then there we will study sociometry, how to identify opinion leaders. There also we will study these key communicators. So key communicators are the person in a village which are selected by communicators, which will disseminate the message further. They are progressive farmers, they are knowledgeable peoples, they are highly educated peoples. So classical example, or they are the influential people in a village. Example, priest. Example, a student from a village has done graduation or MSc and then they are working into village. So a educated background person can become our key communicator. So what I will do from mass media, I will not give to each and everyone, I will give to key communicator. Or if I will give to each and everyone, but I will make it certain that my mass media message will go to key communicator 100%, so that I could understand what are the consequences of my mass media message, because key communicators are limited number. So I can take the data, I can take feedback from these key communicators one by one. From these key communicators, the message goes to audience. Why this is they have done in this model? Because I am the outsiders for a village. Villagers do not know me. So in my, when I am stating something that this technology is good or bad, they can listen to me, but it's not necessary they can adopt it, right? But when a key communicator, a person from their social system, says to them, yes, this technology is good, then it's make an impact. That's why key communicator they have bought in between. For example, if your professors are saying to you something, you will take it important, it's important. But when the same thing comes from your senior, just 1 year senior, then you will take that message more seriously. That is the role key communicator are playing. So mass media to key communicators, and then key communicators to audience. That's why I have written mostly influence information flows from mass media to key communicator, information is gone. But from key communicator to audience, with information, influence also flows, because they will listen to key communicator very seriously. So this is a two-step flow model, effective one and a very good model. Then there is a one-step flow model. If you remember, hypodermic needle model is modified. So directly in putting a message into mass media, they will see what will be the effect, screening effect. They will take a small sample and they will give the message to them, and then see the consequences before giving to a mass media, right? They will see the personality variables, differential effects, past experiences, so all this. So classical example is, again, if a very good communicator is speaking, is planning to give a message to the audience, so before giving message into mass media, what that person will do, he will give that message in a small sample, which we call as pre-testing, right? If the results are desirable, then they will give to the audience. So one step they have added, that they will screen it, they will refine it, right? So this becomes a one step flow model. Then comes the multi-step flow model. Multi-step flow model means from mass media to directly to audience, you are also adopting this model. On the other hand, you are also adopting mass media to opinion leaders, opinion leaders to audience. Then you are adopting different mass media, newspaper also, radio also, or you are going door to door also. Classical example will be polio campaign, polio eradication campaign in our country. On one hand, advertisements are coming on TV regularly. On the other hand, asha workers, anganwadi workers are going door to door for polio drops, and it was a mission mode. So they have adopted not one single model, they have adopted many models on one hand, and on the same way, on the same line, right? So it's become a multi-step flow model. So these are important models, please remember this, make notes, and they are also very wonderfully explained in A.S. Sandhu book. Now a new model, y-shaped flow model. You will not find it I think in books, because this is the notes from my MSc classes, and in Banaras Hindu University our professor has taught this model, and I have not find this model in books. You will find some in research paper or in some online platforms, right? So it's a Y-shaped flow model. Y-shaped flow model is mass media and extension worker both are giving the message. So you are using mass media also, you are using extension workers, and both are giving message to opinion leaders also and progressive farmers also, and then the message is going to the followers. So it's the structure is Y type of a structure, that's why it's known as Y-shaped model. So not only Y-shaped model, you can discover your own models, but they have to be researched, they have to be tested. So in communication, many research gaps are still there. We are studying the models which Berlow Liggins has developed in a very year by 1967. After that, no good model of communication has come up. So these are the hints for your research area also. So Y-shaped flow model can be there, or you can develop a new model. So Y-shaped flow model is also there. Then coming to a very important area from where many objective questions are being framed. The first one is message distortion. So I will explain you what is distortion. Distortion means तबाह करना. Distortion means खत्म करना या disturb करना. So message distortion means anything which is interfering in your communication process or in your message. Particularly they are talking about message. So any noise which is interfering in your message and which is disorienting your message, it becomes message distortion. So this concept was given by Kirk, K-I-R-K, in 1953, right? K-I-R-K, Kirk, in 1953. He told that there are three types of distortion, very important. When we solve Sunil Viji book, you will find many questions from this, and I remember one or two questions, they are not right there. I think it's a printing mistake or some other mistake. So from here you make your concept clear. So the first one is systematic distortion, which is also known as stretch distortion. So systematic distortion is that distortion where no information is lost. Objective question can be framed that which of the following distortion is a distortion where no information is lost. So systematic distortion is the answer. No information is lost. It is only changed in a systematic way. Here, information is purposefully changed in a systematic way, mainly used in treatment of message, right? Because you have changed the message, original message, that's why they have taken into the category of distortion. Otherwise, it's a treatment of message. You have converted a English speech into Hindi. You have converted a English material into Tamil. So it's no information is lost if you are a very good person to do that conversion or expert in that area. So no information is lost, no information lost, but the information has been changed, right? So it's become a systematic distortion. Then comes to the fog distortion. Fog, the name suggests information is lost, masked, or fogged due to inability of communicator to encode and inability of receiver to decode the message, right? If you are not able to encode in a proper way, or if the receiver is not able to decode in a proper way, then information will be lost, or it will be masked, or it will be fogged. It means that the whole 100% information will not travel to the person. Some of the information will be lost. It become fog distortion, right? Then mirage distortion. Mirage distortion gives extra unwanted information and cause error in prediction. So which one of these following is the most disastrous one, most harmful one? Mirage distortion is harmful one, because if some information is lost and audience has not got some information, it is still better than getting the wrong information. If they have not understood you properly, if they have misunderstood you, and if they have taken the wrong message, then it's more harmful than if they have not taken your message at all, right? So it's very disastrous distortion if they are getting extra unwanted information or disoriented information, wrong information. So mirage distortion gives extra unwanted information. Always remember, systematic, no information lost, treatment of message. Fog distortion, yes, information is lost or hidden or masked or fogged. Mirage distortion, extra unwanted information enters into the scene. So these are the three important distortion of messages. Now coming to the channel of communication, very important, and it's depend on channel of communication how effective your communication will be and how much coverage of the audience you will do. So according to Rogers and Shoemaker in 1971, communication channels are the means by which message travel from source to receiver, or message travel from communicator to receiver. According to Liggins 1961, communication channels are physical bridges between sender and receiver. So why I have taken these two definitions? Because channels of communication is one of the favorite question of ARS paper setters, and it generally comes into 5 marks. Or there can be a different distinguish between interpersonal channel, mass media channel, personal channel, cosmopolite channel. So this is a very important area. So if it comes channels of communication, first defined channel of communication by Rogers and Shoemaker 1971 and Liggins 1961. So always make one copy where you will note down different authors who have given which definition. So please make a list so that you can remember. Channel of communication, Rogers Shoemaker 1971, Liggins 1961. Only this you write in a separate copy. So when you will revise, then please remember Rogers and Shoemaker what they have said in 1971 and what Liggins has said in 1961 in reference to channels of communication. So channels are simple. They are the physical bridge on which the message is traveling from sender, from source or communicator to receiver, right? So that becomes a channel of communication. Now classification of channel, example, for example, channels: radio is a channel, television is a channel, newspaper is a channel. So these are the channels of communication. And in interpersonal communication, which will become a channel? The air will become a channel. It is taking your words to the receivers, right? So classification of channels we will see. So this is very important, and you already know interpersonal channels and mass media channels. So interpersonal channel, as the name is suggesting, it is used for focusing or to face to face situation where communication between two or more individuals take place, right? So communication between two or more individuals is taking place face to face situation, interpersonal channels. Classical example is a classroom situation when a teacher is teaching to a group of 30 students. They can give you immediate feedback. They can raise hand, they can ask question, teacher can also give them immediate answer. So this is very important, interpersonal channel. The second one is mass media channel, radio, television, newspaper is example. One individual or a few individual may reach to large audience in a shorter time, which are physically separated. See, in this wonderful definition, each and every characteristics of mass media channel has come. One individual or a few individual giving or reaching to large audience in a shorter time, which are physically separated. Classical example is our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister is interacting with us through Man Ki Baat in radio, or a celebrity is giving their speech on television, or a scientist is coming into DD Kisan or Krishi Darshan and explaining concept to the farmers. That's become the mass media channel, right? So the beauty of mass media channel is you can reach a large audience on the same time, but the drawback is the immediate feedback cannot come. You cannot analyze each and every person's feedback, right? But interpersonal communication, you can take feedback easily and effectively. No, this is the definition of now this is the definition of interpersonal and mass media channels. I have given you this this is the photograph of my notes, and this question has come into our ARS examination. Difference between interpersonal and mass media channel, 5 marks. So the first criteria, message flow, interpersonal two-way, mass media one-way. Sometimes it becomes two-way if you allow one or two person to speak, or you frame in DD Kisan, if you see call-in program where farmers can call immediately to scientists, that then in that way it becomes a two-way, but each and every farmer is not getting chance for that. So that's why that come into mass media channel. So always whenever there is a different when there is a confusion whether it's an interpersonal mass media, always think of feedback. If feedback is coming from, can be done from each and every individual, then please put that communication in interpersonal channel, right? So message flow two-way interpersonal, one-way mass media. Communication face to face interpersonal, face to face, and mass media interpost. So a very interesting question I will give you. I will not give you the answer, but a question I will give you. Online classes, it's an interpersonal channel or a mass media channel? Please think over it, right? Then feedback in interpersonal, high. Obviously you can take feedback from each and every individual. In mass media it's low, you cannot take feedback from each and every individual. Speed to reach audience in interpersonal, it's slow. You can reach to 30 people, 40 people, at most 60 people at a time, but in mass media you can reach crores or crores people. Used for interpersonal is used for persuasion, when you want to pursue. I have explained this concept when I was explaining the purpose of communication according to Berlow and according to Aristotle. So persuasion, if you want to pursue, then you have to go door to door, you have to go person to person. That's why interpersonal communication is important. And in mass media, awareness, right? If you want to make awareness about your program, then it's become the awareness area in mass media. Then audience is homogeneous interpersonal and not physically separated. Classical example is again classroom. All are BSc student, all have done 12th class, so little bit they are homogeneous in age also. Age group is also 17 to 21. So age wise also, social economic background wise also, 90% they are same. Some extraordinary cases can be there, but overall they are saying homogeneous, and they are not physically too much of separated. Now COVID is going on, so 6 feet distance is there, so physically separated audience can be there, but still we can say in a larger space that they are physically not so much separated. But in mass media, a person from Jammu Kashmir can also listen to that radio program, from Kanyakumari can also listen to that program. So heterogeneous in terms of social background, in terms of religion, in terms of upbringing, in terms of a whole socio-cultural background, they are heterogeneous and they are physically separated, right? Even they will not know each another, right? One video I have seen, and I don't know how many crores of people has seen that video from the YouTube. So I am not knowing, but I am in that area because I am one of the audience of that mass media. So it's become mass media. So please note down, make your notes from this is 6 points, and they are good enough for 5 mark question. Here I have written in a short form, you can explain it with examples, so you will get good marks. Now the second category of classification of channels will be localite and cosmopolite. Localite means if a person, if a channel is originated within that system, that channel become localite. For example, opinion leaders. Opinion leaders are the person who belong to the socio-cultural environment of that village, and now they are in touch with the scientists. Scientists are explaining concept to that opinion leader. Now opinion leader is explaining that concept to the farmers. So it's become a localite. Cosmopolite means when extension worker is directly interacting with the farmers and explaining them, because he is not from that socio-cultural economic background, then it's become a cosmopolite. For example, classical example, a extension scientist who is from Tamil Nadu and who is posted at IRI. Now he is disseminating technology or making working in his project village area and directly interacting to the farmer. That become a cosmopolite channel, right? Which channel will be effective? Obviously localized channel will be more effective, but sometimes if you have a good rapport, if you have done a previous work, if your previous work is so good, then cosmopolite channels are also effective. So these are four important points. Please note down. Mass media are important awareness. I have explained on knowledge stage. Interpersonal channels are important for persuasion. So persuasion stage, awareness stage, they are concept of diffusion of innovation, decision process. Mass media channels are important for early adopters. Interpersonal channels are important for late adopters. Many times they will frame questions, and I will also explain you when we will cover diffusion of innovation concept. That unit when we will cover. So mass media channels important for early adopters. Interpersonal channels are important for late adopters. Why? Because late adopters are not too much of progressive, so they need door to door, they need personal counseling, persuasion. So that's why interpersonal channels are important for late adopters. On the other hand, early adopters are progressive, they will understand, they will take the technology very early, so mass media is enough for them, sensitization enough for them. Classical example will be some information comes into media, or some forms comes, or some competition comes. There are 3 or 4 students in your class who are always active, they will just see the poster, they will apply. But for some student you have to persuade, you have to motivate, then they will apply, right? Then cosmopolite channel are important awareness stage, localite channel are important persuasion stage. Cosmopolite channel are important for early adopters, localite channels are important for late adopters, right? Now coming to the media forums is also important. Objective questions sometimes come in Sunil Viji, you will find objective question. Media forums are the combination of, so answer will be mass media and interpersonal channel, right? A combination of mass media an interpersonal channel is most effective way to reach the people. For this purpose, media forums are there. Media forums are organized small group of individuals who meet regularly to receive a mass media program, radio, TV, etc., and then discuss. Media forum are started in Canada for the first time. So objective questions are being framed here. So media forums were first time organized into Canada. What is media forum? Mass media plus interpersonal communication, and now available to several countries also. Feedback and effect of media forums is quick and more credible. Classical example will be when a particular good movie releases, you decide that with my parents, with my family, with my brothers and sisters, I will see this media. What you are doing? It's a media forum for you, right? So media forum. So mass media is there, and interpersonal channel is also there. You 5 6 family members are interacting with each other and taking a mass media, and after movie each of one you give your opinion that yes, hero has done this good thing, he has not done this good, right? This could be done, all things you are doing. So same way in agriculture also, if a very good technology we have to disseminate, we will organize a group of farmers, 30 farmers, and we will show them using ICT TV aided media. We will show the video of that technology, and then we will allow them to discuss among themselves to rectify the confusion, and we will there act as a facilitator. So what is this? This is a media forum. So media forum, Canada, mass media and interpersonal channel. Channel credibility is also one thing I have written. Credibility refers to trustworthiness, you already know. Now, audience and receivers is the last element in that communication process, and after that, one element was inserted by JP Liggins, that audience response feedback, right? So, two elements are remaining: audience or receivers or feedback. So, audience, again, the factors which are affecting our communicators, the same factor will affect our audience also, like their communication skills, their knowledge, their attitude, their position in social culture, because both are in the two ends, and they both are being affected by the same factors overall, because both were are human and both have the same factors affecting them, right? So according to Sandhu and Lal in 1973, they have done one study. They found that 36% of farmers are low category of communication behavior, 44% of farmers are in medium, and 20% high. This is a just finding of the research paper. Now if you have a recent edition of AS Sandhu, might be they have updated this study, so you please refer to that study. So audience receiver, again, not too much of question will come from there here, but still you should note that the factor which affect our communicators, that factors will affect our audience also. Here the listening is become a very powerful tool for audience, right? One thing which is very important for audience: listening capability. Listening is also a communication, so listening is also a skill. Nowadays people are having good verbal communication, but listening capability are going down. So you should inculcate that habit of listening. Also, listening is also a art, listening is also a communication, right? So the last element is feedback. Before that, there are social network. Two important concept. I have taken photograph from my copy. The first one, I have seen many times this question comes. The least satisfying company social network to participant is wheel. Always remember why it's wheel. We will clear this concept when we will cover our management unit. There it is there. How that message transfer into in organization, there we will cover this. So least satisfying to participant will be wheel and maximum satisfying to participant will be star. So please note that this is for your sake of making objective. So we will cover in detail in management unit. Now coming to the last unit, that is feedback. So feedback affect the source. Why it affect the source? Because receiver will give back to the source or communicator, and then communicator will analyze whether he or she become effective or not, and what are the areas where they are lacking, and they can reorient their next message. So feedback affect the source. Feedback exerts control over future messages, because after getting feedback, on the basis of feedback, the communicator will reorient their message. They will change the message according to the feedback. So it exerts control over future messages. Feedback increases accuracy and fidelity. Obviously, if on the basis of feedback, if I am modifying my content, my communication, then I will make a good speech, or I will have a good communication in my next speech or next workshop. Feedback varies in different communication situation. Obviously, if farmers will give a different kind of feedback. If student will give different kind of feedback. So feedback varies. Feedback is source oriented. Why I have underlined too much? Because it's a classical objective question. So it is written, feedback is source oriented, receiver oriented, channel oriented. So source oriented is the answer. It's not receiver oriented. Please remember, student get confused that because feedback, receiver will come in your mind. Oriented means towards which feedback is moving. So from receiver, the feedback moves towards source. So it's source oriented. But now researches are being done, new communication models are being generated where communicator also give feedback to the audience. We are also doing when we organize a seminar in villages. So farmers also telling to us, and also we are suggesting farmers that next time please sit this time, please listen to us in this way, please ask your question in this way, so that it will be effective. So we are also giving the feedback, but here feedback is source oriented, because it's more important for a source to know what is the feedback of my audience. So feedback is source oriented. Feedback increases confidence, obviously, and mass media has minimum feedback. I have explained, because in mass media you will not know how much audience that message is going to cover, and you will not able to take feedback from each and every individual. So minimum feedback is there, but the beauty of mass media is in low time you will reach to the largest audience. And now the last concept, that is empathy. So if you remember, in the first class I have explained to you sympathy and empathy. I have given you a very classical example. If you are walking on road and if you see a beggar, then for the sometimes your heart will bleed. For sometimes you will feel pityness for that person. You will give 5 rupees, 10 rupees to that person, 20 rupees to that person, and then walk away. After going to the next few steps, you will forget about that beggar and you will again go back to your life. So that is sympathy. Empathy is after seeing the beggar, you gave him rupee or not, it does not matter, but you decide to do something good for these beggars. So that has become empathy. So always a scientist should have empathy after going to village. When we have meet to farmers, then we should work for them. We should have a feeling that, oh, we have to give good technology to farmers. So this becomes a very important part. That's why it is said that always inculcate empathy rather than sympathy. So empathy is refers to the ability to project yourself into the others people's personality. अगर मैं उसकी जगह होता या होती तो मैं क्या करता? This becomes empathy. So all the historians, historical great people like Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, they were highly empathetic people. right? They do not believe on sympathy, they believe on empathy. Empathy means you have to take some action, you have to feel the pain of that person and then do something good for that person. So empathy is all a very important concept in extension, right? So it's a process through which we arrive at expectations, anticipations of internal psychological states of men. Because if you are empathic toward farmers, after discussion, after one project, you will come to know what actually that farmer wants in his life, right? You will know his expectations, and then you will draft your project in that area, that the farmers of this region want this type of technology, if you are empathetic enough. That's why a classical definition of Balloon 1960, which is very important to understand. Why I am telling this concept empathy, 5 mark question it was in our ARS time. So empathy and its theories, 5 mark question. So you will find this in A. Sandhu book, in GL Ray book also, but I have taken from the different books. So definition Balloon 1960, and then communicator anticipates the possible response of his receiver and tries to predict it ahead of time. This is empathy, right? You will know what actually that person, what your audience wants, and then you will start working for them. So empathy is a very good concept. Now, theories of empathy. There are two theories of empathy. Not too much of detail. They will ask. Mostly, they will ask this question in 5 marks question. Or sometimes this role-taking theory are coming into objective. Role-taking theory of empathy was given by. So answer is Mead, MEAD, 1937. Right. So there are two theories. The first one is inference theory and role-taking theory. Inference theory says each communicator observe his own physical behavior directly and can relate his behavior symbolically to his own internal psychological status. On the basis of prior interpretation of self, he makes inferences about internal state of others. So what you understand from this inference theory, what a communicator will do, he will observe his own physical behavior. So you understand this concept from this fact that if you are going to give one speech or you are going to communicate with farmers, so before communicating, on the basis of your prior experience, you will analyze your physical behavior, you will analyze your internal state of mind, you will analyze your habits, you will analyze your style, and you will make speculations of how you will communicate at that particular point of time. So this the inference theory. Inference theory says you will analyze your prior interpretation, you will do, and you will analyze yourself by physical behavior. Then you will come to know about yourself, because you are knowing about yourself from your past experience, right? So what you know about yourself is not 100%. Nobody knows about himself or herself 100%, but you know certain facts that yes, I like this, I do not like this. I am strong in English, I am not strong in this language. My handwriting is good, my handwriting is not good. Something you know. So this you have known because of your prior experience. So on the basis of prior experience, if you are judging yourself how you will perform in a communication process, whether you will able to analyze the expectations of your audience or not, then it becomes a inference theory. You can go into Google and you can read in detail, because I'm not explaining in too much, because this is the concept of psychology, right? Then second is role taking theory. Role taking theory was developed by Mead in 1937. According to this theory, concept of self is learned after communication has occurred, right? If you have given a speech one time, two times, three times, and then you will know, yeah, I am thinking that I am very good in English, but when I got into podium, then I was not able to speak. Then something will be revealed to you after that experience. Then you will realize that, oh, I am lacking in this area. Or if you are not confident enough and you spoke very well, and then you will come to know that yes, I was thinking that I'm not good in speaking, but when I am got into podium, I spoke very well. So something will be revealed after communication. That means it is in other people's role symbolically. So sometimes when you are speaking, sometimes when you are acting, then you will know that your behavior is getting influenced by certain person. That's why if you remember this social concept theory of marketing, that celebrities are coming and they are selling some goods, because the your favorite celebrity is doing this, you will also do this, because your behavior will be guided, because you will have play the role of that celebrity. It will affect your personality. So that is the role taking theory. Many times you have seen that your communication styles becomes from is derived from some iconic personalities. That happens. So it's role taking theory. When you person begins to put himself in others people role symbolically, so that becomes the role taking theory, and the concept of self is learned after communication has already occurred. Then you will analyze about yourself, then you will able to analyze about the audience. This is given by Mead in 1937. I will look more detail about these two theories, because in books they are not available. They are available in books of Dimensions of Extension Education by Dr. A.K. Singh, Lakhan Singh and R.R. Burman. That book, these theories are there. So sometimes this comes in examination, that's why I have covered. So please search more detail about these theories in Google and make your good notes about these theories. Try to understand these theories. And then last is empathy. As group increases, empathetic accuracy decreases, because lots many people, it's very difficult to know each and every person's expectations. Obviously empathy will decreases. That's why it is always said that you should have a focused project on focused farmers, right? So this is the concept of empathy. And when we are insensitive to the behavior of others, when our prior communication is minimal, when we are not motivated, then empathy will decrease, obviously. So that's why we always say that interaction is always good, and the interaction is the goal of human communication, right? You are there, you are communicating because you have to express yourself. You are not there to impress someone, and that's why the goal of human communication is interaction. So that's all in today's module. So please make notes from this module. I have covered many important concepts in today's module, and you can refer to these module in detail from A.S. Sandhu book, a textbook of agriculture communication, through Google also. And the things which are left we will cover in next module. And many students are suggesting me to take up research methodology module after this, because this is the one unit which students are finding difficult to understand by themselves. So I will start research methodology module after this module. And now exam has been postponed, as you all know, so you are getting good amount of time. So please go get ahead. How to reorient their strategy video, I have made a separate video, and that video is also in your description box. So all the best. I hope you have liked this module, and so I will meet you in the next module. Thank you.